Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive into a really profound lecture that takes a single chapter of the Quran and uses it to help us find meaning beyond just dogma. It's a journey that's going to challenge us to look past the finger and really see where it's pointing.
So, right off the bat, the source material grounds us in a pretty tough reality: conflict, division. The stuff that's so often fueled by rigid black and white thinking. This statement here, it just sets the stage perfectly by arguing that violence without a just cause, that's not some grand strategy, it's just murder. It really forces you to ask, what should be guiding us in a world that feels so fractured?
Okay, so how do we get past all that division? Well, the lecture proposes a pretty fundamental shift in how we see things, and it all starts with how we even define a community. The idea is maybe we need to break free from the labels that keep putting us in different boxes.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The lecture argues that over time, the focus shifted to this idea of Dar Al-Islam, an exclusive house of Islam. But the original term in the Quran, it was Dar As-Salam, a universal house of peace. So the invitation isn't to join a specific group, it's to enter a state of being, a state of peace that's open to literally everyone.
And that brings us to the central metaphor for this whole explainer. We so often get stuck just staring at the finger. We analyze the words, the grammar, the history, and we can completely miss the vast, incredible reality it's trying to get us to see. The text isn't the destination itself, it's the map.
So where does this map lead us? The argument here is that sacred texts aren't supposed to be encyclopedias. They're more like teachers of method. They're not there to just give us all the answers, but to teach us how to find them by pointing us to the main source of knowledge, the world all around us.
The text doesn't just give you a list of facts, it gives you prompts. It says, look at the camel.
The sky, how it is raised. The mountains, how they are fixed. And the earth, how it is spread out.
See? Each one of these is a command to go and observe the world for yourself.
This is the core idea right here. The text doesn't say, here are the scientific facts about camels and geology. It just says, look. It commands us to be curious. And from this point of view, things like intellectual effort, scientific inquiry, and just deep observation, they become profound acts of faith.
So the big takeaway here is that the text isn't trying to replace your mind. It's trying to activate it. It's like a curriculum guide, pointing your intellect toward the right laboratories for discovery: biology, astronomy, geology, even your own conscience. Your brain is meant to get in there and engage with the world, to figure out its principles and marvel at its wonders.
Okay, so if our main focus is supposed to be this world, this reality, well, what does that do to the whole idea of paradise and the afterlife? It sort of reframes the entire purpose of our lives. And the lecture hits us with this really powerful comparison. Are we living a death-indexed life, where everything good we do is just a transaction for some reward we hope to get later? Or is our life life-indexed, where paradise isn't a place we go to, but a reality we're supposed to be building right here, right now? And if you really look at the qualities described for the afterlife in the text, they start to sound less like some abstract concept and more like a practical blueprint for living well. I mean, look at these: meaningful work, inner peace, deep satisfaction. These aren't things you wait for. They're achievable states of being that we can create in our own lives.
This quote just sums it all up so perfectly. It suggests that goodness isn't a passive thing. It's a creative, transformative force. Good people don't just earn a ticket to some better place. They actively make the place they're in better for everyone.
All right, this leads us to the final part of the puzzle, and it might be the most challenging one: the relationship between divine guidance and our own human freedom. If we're meant to think, to observe, to create, then what exactly is the nature of the instructions we're given?
The lecture presents this verse as nothing short of a theological revolution. I mean, think about it. It's this profound statement of respect for the human mind, for our will, for our personality. It's saying that guidance is an invitation, a reminder of what we probably already know deep down. It is not, and it should never be, a form of tyranny or force.
And if guidance isn't tyrannical, then it follows that accountability has to be deeply personal too. It's not about some external judge with a checklist. The final turn is inward. It's a confrontation with ourselves.
The source argues that this is the real essence of judgment.
The whole idea of standing before God becomes this powerful metaphor for turning back and facing our own conscience, our own internal record of our actions, our intentions, our compromises. We are asked to read our own book.
And so this explainer doesn't end with a neat little answer. It ends by placing this profound responsibility squarely back on our shoulders. The invitation's been sent to look at the world with new eyes, to think with a free mind, and to build a life of peace and meaning. So the ultimate question, that's a personal one for each of us to answer.